Around the early 2000s, a story began that nobody would believe if it hadn't been recorded. In Riverstone, Georgia, a 62-year-old black woman named Evelyn Parker was living through the most painful day of her life. She had just lost her son to cancer, and through her tears, she tried calling her sister in Charlotte, North Carolina to share the devastating news, but instead of dialing 604, her shaking fingers pressed 601. And her call reached 27-year-old Daniel Brooks in North Dakota. When Daniel answered, Evelyn quickly apologized in her soft, trembling voice. "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Wrong number," then hung up. Anyone else would have moved on. But Evelyn accidentally dialed that same wrong number again and again. Sometimes a week later, sometimes months later, even a few times in the same day. What's surprising is that Daniel never reacted with frustration. A young white man in the Midwest, a grieving black mother from the South, two people from completely different worlds. And yet Daniel answered her calls every time, always with patience. After one of those repeated misdials, Daniel finally laughed gently and said, "If we're going to bump into each other like this, we might as well say hello properly." And that moment changed everything. Their conversations shifted from accidental calls to genuine check-ins. They talked about small things, weather, family, life. Daniel saved her number as Georgia Lady, joking that she was like a phone call pen pal from another life. Over the years, that accidental connection grew into a bond neither of them expected. Daniel sent her flowers on her birthday. He supported her through the loss of another child. He checked in whenever she went silent. He was one of the few people who always showed kindness, not because he had to, but because he chose to for Evelyn, who had experienced her share of racial prejudice throughout her life. Daniel's steady compassion felt like a reminder that humanity can rise above stereotypes. Then in 2022, after 2 decades of these long-distance calls, something unbelievable happened. Daniel, now married and a father of 2 girls, was driving through Georgia for a family trip. When he realized he was only minutes away from Evelyn's home, he stopped by a grocery store, bought a bouquet, and decided to finally meet the woman whose voice he'd known for 20 years. He walked to her door and knocked. When Evelyn opened it, he said with a smile, "I'm Daniel, from North Dakota." At first, she squinted in confusion, but the moment she heard his voice, her face lit up. She threw her hands up and exclaimed, "Oh Lord, I'm blessed today." She later said it was the happiest surprise she'd ever received. Their story, born from a misdial, strengthened by empathy, and bridging differences in age, race, and distance, proves something powerful. Sometimes the world brings people together through mistakes. And sometimes simple kindness can break through the invisible walls society builds between us. If this story inspired you, hit like, share it with friends, and subscribe to our differences for more stories that celebrate kindness, empathy, and the beauty in our differences.